Fashion Week 2025 is starting around the world in Pokemon Go, and this is not an event you want to miss. There is amazing opportunities for costume Pokemon and to gain Stardust, so let's get right into it. By the way, if I'm talking too quick or slow, you can click the speed up button on YouTube to change the speed of this video. This event is January 10th, 10 a.m. to January 19th, 8 p.m. your local time, so wherever you live, that's the time frame. Bonuses during the event will have 2 times Stardust from catching Pokemon and 2 times chance of getting an XL candy when catching Pokemon, but only for trainers above level 31, because that's when XL candy is unlocked. There'll also be exclusive Pokestop showcases during the event. For shiny boosts during the event, from the wild spawns, Top Hat Curlia will have a shiny boost, as well as from field research tasks and raids, Fashionable Butterfree, Fashionable Dragonite, Fashionable Minccino, and Furfrou in the natural form will all have shiny boost. Now, I don't want to spread misinformation, so I'm just going to leave a pinned comments once this event starts on what that shiny boost is exactly, so wait until then, but it will be higher than normal if you want to get those shiny Pokemon. The spawns during the event will include a Fashionable Diglett, Skitty, Bunnery, Fashionable Blitzel, Furfrou in the natural form, and Bruxish, as well as rare spawns for Fashionable Curlia. 1-star raids will have Fashionable Shinx, Fashionable Minccino, Furfrou in the natural form. 3-star raids will have a Fashionable Butterfree, Fashionable Dragonite. 5-star raids will have Palkia in the altered form, and Mega raids will have Mega Lopunny. There'll also be new avatar items you can buy in the shop, including the plaid top and the plaid pants. During this event, there will be the field research task, catch a Furfrou for 1,000 XP or 1,000 Stardust. Explore 1 kilometer for a natural form Furfrou encounter. Explore 2 kilometers for a costume Minccino encounter. Take snapshots of 5 different wild Pokemon for a Fashionable Diglett or Fashionable Blitzel encounter, win 2 raids for a Fashionable Butterfree or Fashionable Dragonite, and win a raid for a costume Minccino. We'll also have a $5 USD paid timed research you can go ahead and buy, or whatever that might be in your currency, that will get you some encounters with Furfrou, a new Fashion Week avatar pose, encounters with the costume Minccino and the costume Dragonite, as well as Stardust. You can check out all the tasks on screen. It's not too hard to complete. Finally, it'll be a very easy collection challenge to go ahead and complete, getting you a Shinx with a hat encounter and 5,000 XP. There also is an event in this event, Mega Gallade Raid Day. Going down January 11th from 2 to 5 p.m. your local time, Mega Gallades will be everywhere in Mega Raids, with the raid timer resetting every hour. To defeat a Mega Gallade raid, you'll catch a Gallade, which will have a boosted shiny odds of 1 in 10, and you can get 5 free additional raid passes from spinning gyms during the event for a total of 7. So you can do 7 free raids. The remote raid pass limit will also be increased January 10th, 4 p.m. to January 11th, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time if you want to do 20 remote raids. And there will be an event ticket you can go ahead and buy that will give you a total of 15 free raid passes instead of the 7 on the day, an increased chance for rare XL candy dropping from raid battles, 50% more XP from raid battles, and 2 times Stardust from raid battles. These bonuses will be effective on January 11th from 2 to 10 p.m. local time. We'll get into some tips for the raid day a little later. Let's hop right into the tips though, starting with what are the best wild spawns you should be focusing on during the event that are meta relevant and useful in Pokemon Go. We first have Bunnery, which evolves into Lopunny, which Lopunny does have a Mega form in Pokemon Go, available even in raids during this event. Mega Lopunny is the number 8 overall fighting type attacker in Pokemon Go. We also have Furfrou in the natural form, which depending if you're going to be traveling for any Pokemon Go events, including City Safaris and Go Fests. If you haven't heard, the Go Fest for 2025 have been announced for locations, in which there will be one in Osaka, Japan, Jersey City, and in Paris. You can save any shiny Furfrous you catch during this event to form change them and potentially trade them to people during these in-person events. Shiny Furfrou is always a great trade bait. We have Bruxish in there, which is good in the Psychic Cup if that cup ever does return, and the Fashionable Curlia. Now, Fashionable Curlia is a stage 1 Pokemon, meaning you get 300 Stardust every time you catch it. During this event, 600 Stardust. So really good if you want to grind Stardust. Now, unfortunately, Fashionable Curlia cannot evolve, but in the future, if it can evolve, or even just being able to grind candies for Ralts is a great strategy. The reason being is, of course, we do have Gardevoir in Pokemon Go, which Mega Gardevoir is the number 1 fairy type attacker in Pokemon Go and top psychic attacker, or you can grind candies for any of the Gallades you might have, which Shadow Gallade is good in the Great League, and Mega Gallade is a top psychic and top fighting type attacker in Pokemon Go, so a great opportunity to grind candies through that wild spawn. On the topic of catching and Stardust though, the number 1 tip during this event is to catch, but specific Pokemon. With the bonus of 2 times catch Stardust. If you throw on a star piece, you're getting 350 Stardust every time you catch a Pokemon. However, if you catch stage 1 or stage 2 Pokemon, you'll be getting even more Stardust, and if you catch Pokemon during Weather Boost, even more than that. Specifically, catching something like a Curlia on a star piece is getting you 900 Stardust. That's like catching 9 Pokemon. If you do a raid for a costume Dragonite and catch that on a star piece, that's 1,500 Stardust. That's like catching 15 Pokemon in one. Also, Weather Boost can be a great addition. Catching any Pokemon with that Weather Boost icon around them will give you 25% more Stardust when caught. So I highly recommend you guys go out and catch Weather Boosted Pokemon as well as Stage 1 and Stage 2 Pokemon during this event. There is also a long list of boosted Stardust Pokemon in Pokemon Go, including things like Paris, Meowth, Alolan Meowth, Shelder, Staryu, which naturally get you more Stardust. If you have any of those in your stacked research task or any old field research task or special research tasks, and you can encounter those during 2x Dusk, you're gonna be getting even more Stardust. So remember to catch any extra Pokemon you might have encounters with that get you more Stardust than normal. I'll link below the full list if you wanna know. Let's move on to raids though. What are the best raids to go after during this event? Now these raids are all about the costume Pokemon, which always make good trade bait. People want rare shiny costumes. I'm not sure why, I don't really want them, but they are exclusive and they are cool. What are the best raids to focus on? First of all, of course, the natural form of Furfrou is actually gonna be shiny boosted in raids, so a great one to work on. We have the Shinx with the little cap you can go ahead and catch. This is a rare shiny, but also getting candies and XL candies for Shinx can be great for any Shadow Luxrays you might have, which is a top electric type attacker. In the 3-star raids, we have Dragonite. Dragonite is an amazing dragon type Pokemon in Pokemon Go and also very good in the Master League. And that costume is very rare. In the 5-star raids, we do have Palkia in the altered form, which is ranked number 12 in the Master League. And you can also use it to grind candies and XL candies for Palkia in the origin form, which of course does have the spatial rend ability, which does cost Palkia candies and also is ranked number 2 in the Master League. Palkia in the origin form is also a good dragon type attacker in Pokemon Go. Finally, in the Mega Raids, Mega Lopunny, which as we mentioned, is the number 8 overall fighting type attacker in Pokemon Go. Speaking of fighting type attackers, let's talk about Mega Gallade and its raid day dropping during this event. Now, is it actually worth going after Mega Gallade? Is this Pokemon worth it? Well, Mega Gallade is going to be the number 4 overall fighting type attacker in Pokemon Go and the number 7 overall psychic type attacker in Pokemon Go. So overall, a really good raid attacking Pokemon. You can also use it to grind candies and XL candies for Shadow Gallade, which is really highly ranked in the Great League. Also, all those candies, as we mentioned before, can go into the Gardevoirs that you might have already in your storage. However, that's not the only reason to play this raid day because XP is huge. Depending on if you buy that extra ticket or not, when you do a mega raid, you'll get 10,000 XP. And if you use a lucky egg, you're gonna get 20,000 XP per raid you do. And this could be a great way to grind XP for free to play players because you get 7 free raids done during this day for the 7 free passes. That's 140,000 XP if you use a lucky egg during that whole time. If you end up buying the $5 ticket, you'll be getting 50% XP more, which is 210,000 XP during the day for only 7 raids. If you're in need of XP, do the raids on a lucky egg during this day. However, when you are doing the raids, make sure you Mega Evolve accordingly. When you Mega Evolve a Pokemon, you're going to be getting more candies and XL candies for catching Pokemon of that type. So if you plan on doing a lot of Mega Gallade raids, you want to make sure you have a Psychic or Fighting type Mega Evolved. That will include Mega Alakazam, Mega Slowbro, Mega Heracross, Mega Blaziken, Mega Gardevoir, Mega Medicham, Mega Latias, Mega Latios, Mega Rayquaza, Mega Lopunny, or Mega Lucario. So a lot of options of Pokemon to Mega, but make sure you have at least one of those ready during the day. Also, if you are in the need of rare XL candies, which can be great to power up hard mythicals like Diancie to level 50. If you buy the ticket, there's an increased chance of dropping, and from my experience playing these days, it is a big boost. So consider buying the ticket if you're in need of rare XL candies and you're planning on doing a lot of raids, because those resources are hard to get. Finally, I'll link below my counter guide for Mega Gallade if you're interested on seeing on how to take this boss down, but it is pretty easy to do with one person. If you just have a buddy and you guys just do 2, should be no problem. Now, something we've seen in the past fashionable events is some of the rarest Pokemon being available. Costume Shadow Pokemon. Sometimes Niantic forgets to go ahead and turn off the ability for Shadow Pokemon to have the costumes that are featured during Fashion Week. So if Niantic forgets, this could be your opportunity before it gets patched to get some of the rarest costume Shadow Pokemon in the game. Specifically, Blitzel is available from the electric type Grunt, which is the Grunt that says, get ready to be shocked. So when the event starts, if you can encounter a Blitzel, you could check to see if you can get a costume Shadow Blitzel. Also from the Fairy Grunt, which says the sentence, check out my cute Pokemon, you can encounter Curlia, so there is the chance for us to get a fashionable Shadow Curlia during this event. This is to be tested, but this could be a top tip if you want to get ahead of the curve on getting these super rare potential Pokemon. Now, a lot of great Pokemon are spawning during the event and in raids, so let's talk about my candy tips, how to grind candies efficiently during this event. And these tips can be used for any event, so make sure you listen up. First of all, we do have the 2 times chance of getting an XL candy when catching Pokemon during this event. I do want to say that catching weather boosted Pokemon, specifically because they're higher level, has a higher chance of getting you XL candies. So if you really want to take advantage of this bonus and guarantee a lot of XL candies, try to catch higher Pokemon or play during weather boost. You'll get a lot more XL candies. You can also go ahead and use Pineapple Berries. If you don't know, regular Pineapple Berries will multiply your catch candy by 2, and Silver Pineapple Berries will multiply multiply them by 2.34 and make it easier to catch the Pokemon. Definitely recommend using Pineapple Berries, even if you just need XL candies. Using Pineapple Berries to go ahead and grind regular candies to then convert 100 to 1 XL candies could be a great thing to do if you want to maximize. You can also go ahead and Mega Evolve a Pokemon. Like we mentioned before, anytime you Mega Evolve a Pokemon, any Pokemon you catch that shares a type with the Mega, you'll get more candies, XP, and XL candies for catching Pokemon of that type. What are the best Megas to Mega Evolve during the event? Well, there are two options. Number one, do you want to hit the most amount of Pokemon? Specifically, you can hit 6 different Pokemon across raids and in the wild if you Mega Evolve a Mega Pidgeot, including Skitty, Bunnery, Lopunny, Furfrou, Butterfree, and Dragonite, all getting you more XL candies when catching those Pokemon with Mega Pidgeot. However, I highly recommend a better overall choice is Mega Rayquaza, because it's going to hit Pokemon that are more meta relevant. Specifically, Mega Rayquaza would hit Bruxish, Kirlia, Butterfree, Dragonite, and Palkia in raids. If you don't have a Mega Rayquaza, I'd go with the Mega Pidgeot, but Mega Rayquaza is definitely the winner to Mega Evolve during this event. You can also trade Pokemon. If you don't know, when you trade away a Pokemon, you'll get 1 regular candy. But if the distance between where those 2 Pokemon was caught was over 100 kilometers, you're going to get 2 regular candies and a guaranteed XL candy. Saving any Pokemon that you catch during the wild that you want more candies for, I don't know, fashionable Kirlia, Dragonite, whatever, Palkia, and trading them away with distance caught Pokemon is a top strategy that the top players use to get ahead of others. Let's say I go, to Montreal to play the event, or you go on a recent trip, or you have a friend that went on a recent trip. You can type distance 100 in your search bag. It'll show you all those Pokemon that were caught far from where you are. You can go ahead and trade those away, or you can get your friend to trade them to you. Just make sure the distance between where the 2 Pokemon was caught is a lot. Trading away 100 Kirlias, that's 100 Ralts XL candies, which can be very, very useful. Finally, go ahead and transfer Pokemon. We have 2 times transfer candies events once a month in Pokemon Go. And you want to know when the next one is, it's going to be January 28th from 6 to 7 p.m. at your local time. So at 6 p.m. on that day, I highly recommend you hold on to any Pokemon that you really, really want a lot of candies for and transfer them. Then you'll be getting 2 candies instead of 1. Let's talk about Platinum Medal tips. You need 35 Platinum Medals to go from 48 to 49 Pokemon Go. Even if you're not even close to that level, I highly recommend you get on it now, because when it comes to that level, Platinum Medals are not easy to get. The best Platinum Medals to work on during the event are, of course, all the type medals. If there's any of these you haven't completed, I don't know, the normal medal, School Kid, plenty of normal types during this event. We even have, Shinx with the Rocker medal. Work on your medals. These will also make it easier to catch Pokemon of that type, as you can see by the +4 catch bonus at the bottom. Another top medal to work on for everyone during the event is the Rising Star medal to feed 150 species of Pokemon in raids. Now, if you don't know, costume Pokemon in a raid actually counts as a separate species than its regular counterpart. So, a costume Pikachu is different than a regular Pikachu. So you can go ahead and get a bunch of extra points towards this medal by doing costume Pokemon raids during the event, even if you've already done a Dragonite raid, for example. Now, if you're following my candy tips, you're going to have a lot of candy for Pokemon. So the Tiny Pokemon Collector medal, catch 500 extra smalls, and the Jumbo, catch 500 extra larges, is a great medal to work on. Let me explain how. When you catch an extra small or an extra large, if you don't know when you evolve that Pokemon, it's another point towards this medal. Evolving an extra small Pikachu into Raichu, that's 2 points towards the extra small. Since you have a bunch of candy because you're following my candy tips, you can go ahead and evolve any of your extra smalls or extra larges to get more points towards this medal. We also do have the Showcase Star medal, win 100 Pokestop showcases in Pokemon Go. We have showcases during the event. Always do your best to try to win them to work on this medal. It will get you a super rare encounter at the end with a PhD Pikachu, which is the only one you can get in Pokemon Go. Again, dropping into showcases in rural areas is always better than busy areas because there'll be less competition. There's a couple showcases in Ottawa I'm never able to win because there's just too many people around. Finally, let's talk about some miscellaneous tips you should be using for every single event. First of all, if you don't know, if you're ranked 20 in PvP, you can encounter the current legendary Pokemon. So for now, Palkia in the altered form. So if you can't do raids or you have no one to raid with, I highly recommend that you try to get to rank 20 in PvP, which I have a bunch of videos on the channel on guides on how to do that, so you can encounter those Pokemon without having to raid. Also, highly recommend to be most efficient in Pokemon Go and get the most candy stars, all that stuff, is to use the quick catch technique. The quick catch technique allows you to catch Pokemon quicker and skip the catching animation. I'll link below a video on how to do that. Highly recommend you check that out. But you can pair this with Spatial Rend, which is Palkia's ability. If you have a Palkia with the attack Spatial Rend, you can use its ability for Stardust and Palkia candies, which will double your spawn distance, allowing you to see spawns twice as far. This will allow you to be much more efficient in your grind. The more Pokemon you see, in combination with using the quick catch, will allow you to catch Pokemon really, really quick and be a top player, because that's what they do. Highly recommend you also have a buddy set as your buddy that's at least the Great Buddy level. A buddy at the Great Buddy level will be able to do the Buddy Bounce Back, so if you end up missing a throw when you are out grinding, it can sometimes save that Pokeball and throw it back at it, so you can save Pokeballs. Finally, I highly recommend you download all assets. If you haven't done this in your advanced settings, you can go ahead and click download all assets. It'll make the game run smoother and your enjoyment of this event will be a lot better. Highly recommend you watch this video below if you learned something from this video, because you'll definitely learn something new from that video. Keep catching out there and continue on improving in Pokemon Go, and follow for more tips. Peace.